Welcome to 15 After 5, your after-work brain snack. In each episode, we explore 3 simple ways to feel smarter, lighter, and more in control. A mind shift, insights from books, psychology, and personal growth. A machine check, fresh trends in AI tech, and tools that work for you. A movement mode, practical wellness tips you can actually stick to. I'm Ying, producer of this show, and this is your daily dose of playful progress. Let's dive in.
You ever get that feeling like you're just constantly on this hamster wheel, always being told, do more, get more, earn more?
Oh, absolutely. It's everywhere, isn't it? That pressure. And honestly, it can just feel completely overwhelming.
Yeah, you feel like you're always falling short or something.
Right. We get bombarded with these messages like our value is tied purely to, stuff, material things.
Totally.
Yep.
So, in this deep dive, we're going to explore a few connected ideas, things that might actually shift your perspective a bit.
Yeah, the plan is to really unpack what real wealth might look like, look at how work is changing because of AI, which is huge right now, and also get into our own biology, how that plays a role in feeling, fulfilled.
We've looked at some really interesting stuff, books, new tech developments. The goal is to pull out some hopefully actionable insights for you.
Exactly. So 3 main things. First, a mind shift on wealth. Then a check-in on AI, where it's heading. And finally, grounding it all with some practical stuff about managing your energy, specifically through glucose.
Okay, let's dive into that first one then. Rethinking wealth. I was reading Scott Galloway's The Algebra of Wealth, and this one idea just really stuck with me.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
It's this idea that it's not just about the money coming in, it's about what you actually keep. And maybe even more importantly, figuring out what's enough for you.
Enough. That's such a powerful word. But we almost never talk about it, do we, in this achievement culture?
Never.
Galloway puts it really well, I think. He says, economic security isn't a function of what you earn, but what you keep and knowing how much is enough for you. It really pushes back against that more is always better thing.
It really does.
Yeah.
We're so conditioned, aren't we? Next promotion, bigger bonus, fancier title.
Mm-hmm.
But when does that chase actually start costing you more than it gives you? In terms of time or stress or just peace of mind.
That's the critical point. And that's where clarity comes in, something Galloway also talks about, getting really clear on what actually matters to you beyond the external stuff.
Okay, so it's less about just accumulating and more about knowing why you're accumulating, or if you even need to.
Precisely. It shifts from this blind chase to making deliberate choices based on your values.
It kind of reminds me of that Sheryl Crow line, happiness isn't having what you want, it's wanting what you've got.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. Yeah. It's that shift, isn't it? From future longing to present appreciation.
Exactly.
And Galloway connects this to expectations, too. He says, the key to happiness is our expectations, and unrealistic expectations guarantee unrealized happiness. If you're always moving the goalposts, well, you're basically setting yourself up to always feel dissatisfied.
You're never going to get there if it keeps changing. And it's not just about money, is it, this idea of wealth?
No, definitely not. When you really think about it, true wealth has got to include things like your energy, your time.
Yeah, your health.
Your peace of mind, absolutely. It's much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually brings Viktor Frankl's idea into play. Between stimulus and response, there is a space.
In that space is our power to choose. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Yeah, I know that one. It's powerful.
It really is. And that space, that ability to choose your response, that feels like a cornerstone of real wealth, doesn't it? That inner freedom.
So the big takeaway here, this mind shift, it's about stepping back from just chasing numbers.
Yeah, I think so. Focusing more on the quality of your choices within that space Frankel talks about.
Wealth isn't just the paycheck. It's built in those small daily decisions about your time, your energy, what you actually value.
Well put. Okay, so we've looked inward at mindset. Now let's shift gears. Let's look outward at technology, specifically AI. Because this next bit, it felt a little bit like science fiction becoming reality.
Uh-oh. Sounds intriguing. Like that Black Mirror episode, USS Callister, where the guy uploads his mind to work forever in a game.
Exactly. That kind of unsettling vibe. And honestly, reality is getting weirdly close. I saw this thing in the AI Digest about something called Agent Village.
Agent Village. Okay, yeah, that does sound straight out of sci-fi. What is it?
Okay, so picture this. A digital workspace. But instead of people, you've got 4 AI agents. And these aren't just chatbots. They apparently live, work, collaborate, kind of like a human team.
Wait, seriously, collaborate? What do they actually do?
Get this. In 1 week, this AI team built a whole fundraising website. They ran the social media for it. They were sharing updates in their internal chat.
Wow.
And they actually raised $300 for charity.
An all AI team did that in a week.
Apparently so. Now, they were given initial instructions, right? But then they strategized, they took initiative, they even seemed to clock out at the end of the day.
Clock out. That's weirdly human.
Isn't it? And the interesting part is you can interact with them, give them new tags, watch how they think, how they adapt.
So it really blurs that line, doesn't it? Between AI as just a tool we use and AI as, well, a teammate.
Exactly. It's not just automation anymore, it's collaboration. And that brings up some really big questions about the future of work.
Yeah, it's not just us versus them, man versus machine.
Right. It could be man with machine, or maybe even competing against these super efficient, tireless AI systems.
It really makes you wonder what kind of work will feel meaningful for us, for humans in that world. How do we keep our humanity when intelligence itself is becoming scalable like this?
That's the core question, isn't it? What are our unique human strengths? How do we leverage this tech without losing ourselves?
So the machine check takeaway is, wow, we're building things that can think, communicate, work together.
Yeah.
The implications are just massive.
Profound, yeah. We're really just scratching the surface of understanding what this means.
Okay, deep breaths after that one. Let's bring it back home, back to us, our bodies.
Yeah.
Because no matter how smart AI gets or how we define wealth, our own physical well-being is still the foundation, right?
Absolutely fundamental. And speaking of foundations, I've been looking into the work of Jessie Inchauspé. She's known as @GlucoseGoddess online. Her book, Glucose Revolution, has some really eye-opening stuff.
Glucose. Okay, so blood sugar, isn't that mostly relevant for diabetics?
Well, that's the interesting thing she points out. These big blood sugar spikes, they actually affect pretty much everyone, not just diabetics.
Really? How so?
These spikes and crashes impact so much. Your focus, your sleep, your skin, even your hunger signals and hormones. It's all connected.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. That post-lunch slump after too much pasta.
Exactly. We've all been there. But here's the empowering part of her message. You can actually flatten those curves, those big spikes, without going on some crazy restrictive diet.
Okay, I'm listening. How? What does she suggest?
She has some really simple, practical tips.
Yeah.
One big one is the order you eat your food.
The order.
Yeah. Eat your fiber first, so veggies.
Good.
Then protein and fats. And save the starches and sugars, the carbs, for last.
Huh. Why does that help?
It basically slows down how quickly the glucose from the carbs hits your bloodstream. The fiber, fat, and protein act like a buffer.
Interesting. Okay, what else?
Another one, kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Add a bit of vinegar before your meal, like a tablespoon in water or just on a salad.
Vinegar.
Yeah. Apparently, studies show it can reduce the glucose spike from the meal by up to 30%.
Wow. Okay, that's easy enough to try. Any more?
Movement after meals is key too. Doesn't have to be intense. Even just a 10-minute walk helps your muscles soak up that glucose.
Right. Use a fuel you just consumed. Makes sense.
And the last one she calls clothing your carbs.
Clothing them.
Yeah, meaning basically never eat carbs naked or alone. Always pair them with some fat, fiber, or protein. So, put avocado on your toast or have nuts with your fruit. It slows down the sugar absorption.
Okay, so these are all pretty small tweaks, really. Not a total diet overhaul.
Exactly. Manageable changes.
And what are the potential payoffs if you start doing this stuff?
Well, potentially quite a lot. Less fatigue, fewer energy crashes, more stable moods, better sleep. Could help with weight management and maybe even lower your risk of chronic diseases long term.
So this movement mode isn't just about hitting the gym. It's also about these internal movements, managing your glucose.
Yeah, it's about understanding and working with your body's systems. The core idea is you don't necessarily need more willpower to feel better.
You need smarter habits.
Exactly. Smarter habits around how and when you eat and how you move relative to your meals.
That feels really doable. Maybe, just pick one of those tips this week and see what happens.
I definitely encourage you to try it. Just notice how you feel, your energy, your mood. It's about taking back some control, right?
Sure.
Reclaiming that biological well-being.
Okay, so let's quickly recap our deep dive today. We started with that mind shift.
Realizing true wealth is more than money. It's what you keep, your mindset, knowing what's enough for you.
Then the machine check, looking at AI, Agent Village, realizing our teammates might not always be humans soon. The future is kind of here.
Yeah. And the huge implications of that.
And finally, movement mode. Understanding glucose and those simple hacks, eating order, vinegar, movement, clothing, carbs, to manage our energy better.
And it's really interesting how these three things connect, isn't it?
How so?
Well, your mindset about enough probably influences how you react to all this AI disruption, right? And your physical energy, your glucose stability, that really underpins your ability to handle everything else, the mindset work, the technological changes.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's all interconnected. Your internal state affects how you meet the external world.
Definitely. So maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. How does your definition of enough shape your view of the future? And how much attention are you giving to that fundamental biological energy that allows you to navigate it all?
Good questions to ponder. It really comes back to that focused attention, doesn't it? Being mindful about our choices, whether it's about money, tech, or just what we eat for lunch.
That's all for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in to 15 After 5. If today gave you a spark, share it with a friend, drop a quick review, or hit follow so you never miss a dose. Remember, your goals are a compass, not a cage. Progress should feel like play, and a reset is always just one episode away. I'm Ying, and I'll see you in the next one, After 5.